Assalamu alaikum. Mucor, the fungi. Mucor is the genus of fungi. Here are the contents that we will discuss in today's lecture. First of all, I will give you the overview about the mucor, and then we will learn about the classification, and then we will have introduction, and then we will talk about the habitat, then distribution of mucor, then what are the characteristics of mucor, what is the structure of mucor, and then we will talk about its life cycle, and at the end we will talk about its economic importance. First of all, overview. Mucor is, if you have seen or if you have faced allergies, seasonal flus, or colds, these kind of illnesses are minor and these are present all year around, and these infections are often caused by fungal or microbial contamination. So if you want to know about these microbial contamination and fungal, one of the cause of these contaminations and these illnesses is mucor. So what mucor is? Mucor is a genus of fungi that consists of approximately 50 species, and they commonly resides in the soil, on the plants, and even in the digestive systems of the various animals. So mucor colonies are rapidly growing. They possess a cottony or fluffy texture, and they are white to yellow in color, and they often turn dark or olive gray as they mature, and when they start to develop their spores. So there are different colors of fungi. Mucor or rhizopus is also called as black bread mold, and mucor is also called as dung mold because of its black mold or pink mold or the black colored pinhead like sporangia on it. So it can also. What is mold? Mold is a type of fungus that grows on plants, wood, fabric, food, and any other organic material, just like yeast and mushrooms. We can say that mold is a natural recycler of dead organic matter. So what mold is? Mold are the fungi that grows on plants, wood, fabric, soil, dry walls, floors, and ceilings. They can produce microscopic spores that germinate when moisture has accumulated, and mold growth threatens the structural integrity of a building, and its exposure can lead to the serious health problems. So mucor, it is a common mold that is probably residing everywhere around us. Is mold or mucor dangerous? Yes, mucor is dangerous because they can cause a wide range of diseases in humans, and these diseases are called as mucormycosis. They can be fatal. They occur in the people who already are suffering from some sort of diseases already. What are mucor mold health effects? Mucor has many health effects because humans are exposed to these organisms everywhere, and symptoms of mucor infection can be quite varied depending upon the area of infection. And some of these symptoms will be in rhinocerebral infection, some will be pulmonary infection, some may be gastrointestinal infection, and some will be cutaneous infection. So the symptoms of rhinocerebral infection include nasal or sinus congestion, second headache, fever, one-sided facial swelling, or the black lesion on the roof of the mouth. And pulmonary infection may include coughing, chest pain, shortness of breath, and fever. And sometimes symptoms of the gastrointestinal infection be like abdominal pain, nausea and vomiting, gastrointestinal bleeding. Common symptoms for cutaneous infection will be blisters or the ulcers, discoloration of the infected area, pain, warmth, excessive redness of the skin, and swelling around a wound. So these all are the effects that is caused due to mucor. And what is mucor infection? So generally speaking, immune system is well equipped with the deal to deal with the mucor infections. And in many infections, in most of the cases, mucor infection generally occurs through inhalation of the spores, ingestion, traumatic implantation or surgery, or contamination of the burn wounds, and many times from ears, nose, nails, and eyes. Infection by the mucor and several other species belonging to the Mucorales family are called as mucormycosis. Several main type of mucormycosis are cutaneous mucormycosis, rhinocerebral mucormycosis, third is pulmonary mucormycosis, fourth is gastrointestinal mucormycosis, and fifth is disseminated mucormycosis. What is cutaneous mucormycosis? It is the infection that usually occurs by injection or by implantation of the wounds. Second is rhinocerebral mucormycosis. It is the infection that occurs due to the inhalation and subsequent germination of the spores in the nose area. And these spores development is so rapid, and especially when the arterial walls are infected. Third is pulmonary mucormycosis. It usually originates from the inhaled spores or from the disseminated mucormycosis. Due to the oxygen-rich environment, development of mycelia in the lungs can be very fast, and the consequences are often fatal. Fourth is gastrointestinal mucormycosis. It is most often caused by the ingestion of the spoiled food, and it can also occur following the abdominal surgery. Fifth is disseminated mucormycosis. It is the infection that usually starts in the respiratory system and may spread into the central nervous system or the. How does mucor cause pneumonia, or can mucor cause pneumonia? Yes, mucor can cause pneumonia. In fact, mucormycosis pneumonia is the one of the most dangerous mucor-related infection. It is usually associated with the pulmonary or rhinocerebral mucormycosis. Next is how to identify the mucor, or how to identify the mucor in your home. So if you see under the sinks or any water damaged structure material, there will be the mucor. Or now the classification of mucor. Mucor belongs to kingdom Mycota, division Zygomycota, subdivision Zygomycotina. Class is Zygomycetes and order is Mucorales. Family is Mucoraceae and genus Mucor. First of all, introduction. Mucor is a mold or a type of fungi that is found everywhere. There are many species of mucor, around 50 to 80 that are distributed worldwide. It can cause diseases particularly called as mucormycosis that might affect the mucous membrane, lungs, eyes, skin, etc. Mucor species are fast-growing fungi that have a high developed mycelium and a branched hypha, and the hypha in the mucor are generally cenocytic, but septa may appear in a mature hypha, and the cytoplasm of hypha appear granular. What are the habitats? Mucor lives in a habitat like organic soil, a dead decaying matter of the fruits, vegetables, and the plants. Distribution is cosmopolitan. Cosmopolitan means they can be found everywhere. What are the characteristics of mucor? Some of the common characteristics of mucor include mucor is also called as black or bread mold. It belongs to the class of Zygomycetes. For most of the mucor, the mode of nutrition is saprophytic, that grows on dead decaying matter, and for other it is coprophilous, that growing on the cow dung or the dung of the other herbivorous animals. And fourth point is mucor grows on a variety of substrates like bread, jams, jellies, vegetables also, and the absorption of the nutrition is through the mycelial surface of the hypha of the mucor. Fifth is the vegetative body of mucor is eucarpic because it is the only thallus that differentiates into the reproductive structures. Sixth is the major reserve food material is in the form of glycogen or in the form of oil droplets. Seventh and the last is the cell of the mucor is composed of mainly cellulose and chitin. Next is structure of mucor. Morphological features are it has mycelium and it has a hypha. Mycelium is the mycelium of mucor is highly branched and it forms fine network of hypha, and mycelium is simply a cluster of hypha. Hypha is thread-like and very thin in structure that form a mycelial network, and hypha of mucor is filamentous, aseptate or cenocytic, and cenocytic is it is non-septate. And in mucor there are three types of hypha, that are subterranean hypha, second is prostrate hypha, and the third is aerial hypha. So mucor can be found in these three types of hypha. First is subterranean hypha. These are the hypha which are highly branched, more penetrating, and is present horizontally to the substratum. Second is prostrate hypha. These are the hypha which is also present horizontally between or under the substratum, and these two hypha, such as subterranean and prostrate, they help in absorption of water and nutrition to the mucor. Third is aerial hypha. These are the type which originates vertically out from the prostrate hypha. What are sporangiophores? These are the elongated or slightly narrow in shape. And what is columella? That is the sporangiophore that swells up to form a dome-like structure called as columella, which can vary in both shape and sizes. What is sporangium? It is the round and thick outer covering which carries numerous spores inside it, and it can be globe or in the spherical structures. Next is spores. These are the reproductive structures to form within the sporangium, which are simple, flattened, and variable in shape and size. And nucleus, they are multinucleated and cenocytic. Mucor has some macroscopic and some microscopic features. What are its macroscopic features? The macroscopic feature include the colony of mucor shows rapid growth, and second, the color of the colony is usually white to gray, or it turns to brown when the culture becomes old. And second is microscopic features. Its hypha are cenocytic, means non-septate and branched. Second is spores that are generally black in color and can vary in different species, and means from species to species spores can be different, and they can be motile or non-motile, and can be of various shapes. Life cycle of mucor. Mucor has three modes of reproduction in its life cycle. First of all, vegetative reproduction, second is asexual reproduction, and third is the sexual reproduction. First, we will talk about the vegetative reproduction. It takes place by the fragmentation, and due to accidental breakage, the mycelium may break up into the two or more units, and each unit is capable to grow as mother mycelium. And by the fragmentation method, when conditions are unfavorable, a vegetative cells break into several fragments, and after which each fragment can develop into the new vegetative body. Also, vegetative reproduction by the aplanospore also occurs in mucor. It is simply by the fragmentation of hypha. During the favorable condition, the mycelium gives out some aerial hypha that are known as sporangiophore, and the terminal end swells to develop some sporangia, and the cytoplasm nutrients and many nuclei are accumulated into the young sporangia, and the protoplasm is accumulated just below the sporangial wall, and then vacuoles are formed in the central region of the sporangium. A swollen vegetative columella also develop on the center of protoplasm. So what columella is? It is a sterile structure, and protoplasm then surrounds the columella, and this protoplasm begins to divide in small protoplasmic bits from the outside to inside, and each small protoplasmic bit contains 2 to 10 nuclei in it, and they are called as aplanospores. At maturity, the outer wall of sporangium bursts, and the spores comes out and are dispersed by the wind, and each spore on a suitable condition germinates, and it produces some kind of germ tubes, and this germ tube will develop into the asexual reproduction. In mucor, asexual reproduction takes place by the formation of sporangiophore Oidea or chlamydospores. What is sporangiophore? In sporangiophores, they are the spores that form within the cell or the sporangium and are non-motile, and they follow some steps that are involved in the asexual reproduction. So first is from the hypha. First sporangiophore arise singly that are erect in position and unbranched, and then when they mature, the sporangiophores occurs when the cytoplasm and nuclei push upward by making an aerial hypha swollen from the apical end, and after that it develops into a sporangium that is large and round in shape. And during the maturation phase, the sporangium differentiates into sporoplasm or columeloplasm. And what is sporoplasm? It is thick, dense, multinucleate and present inside the sporangial wall. And what is columeloplasm? It is vacuolated and nucleated towards the center. And after this, some small vacuoles also appears between these differentiated portions, and the space between the vacuoles, they forms the cleavage or the furrows, and that is the cavity of the cleavage, and cleavage is the cutting or cutted portion. Okay, then a septum forms from the inner side of the cavity, which further divides into the inner columella and upper sporoplasm, and this septum then grows into to form a dome shape, and later it pushes into a sporangium, and then cleavage occurs in the sporoplasm between the nucleus and the cytoplasm, and this division then form a thick walled multinucleated spore called as sporangiophores, and then these sporangiophores then release out of the sporangia after the columella, and when the columella swells up due to the pressure exerted on the sporangial wall. So as a result, a cell will break, means cell lysis will occur, and the spores remain then dormant for some time, and when it will get some suitable substratum and suitable conditions, they will germinate and form a new vegetative body through the germ tube. So what actually happen is, during the favorable condition, the non-motile spores known as sporangiospores or aplanospores are formed inside the sporangium, and the sporangiophore develops singly and scatteredly on the upper side of the superficial mycelium, and then sporangiophore is generally unbranched, and after attaining a certain height, the nuclei and cytoplasm push more and more towards the apical side, and then apex of the aerial hypha swells up, and this swelling part enlarges and develops into the large round sporangium. With maturity, the protoplast inside the sporangium is differentiated into a thick, dense layer of the multinucleate cytoplasm towards the peripheral region just inside the sporangial wall, that is called as sporoplasm, and a vacuolated portion with a few nuclei towards the center is called as columeloplasm. And a series of small vacuoles then appears between the sporoplasm and columeloplasm, and then these vacuoles become flattened and collapse to form a continuous cleavage cavity, and this is followed by the formation of septum towards the inner side of the cavity, which differentiated into the inner columella and upper sporoplasm region, and with further development, the septum becomes the dome shape and pushes it way into the sporangium, and then protoplast of the sporoplasm then undergoes cleavage to produce many small multinucleated 2 to 10 mostly or rarely uninucleated segments, and these segments transform into non-motile sporangiospores, and then sporangium takes place after the maturation of the spores, and minute needle-shaped crystal of the calcium oxalate are formed on the external surface of the sporangium wall. They imbibe the water and make the wall soft. So consequently, the sporangiophore secretes the wall around the sporangium, and then then the unused protoplasm of the sporangium absorbs the water, and then it will be swells up and it creates some pressure, and this pressure, along with the pressure exerted by the bulging of the columella, causes the soft wall of the sporangium to rupture, and this dehisced sporangium thus shows a dome-shaped columella which attached sporangium at the top, and then it remains of the sporangial wall as collar around its base. Means this columella will show like it is the collar around the base of this hypha, and this spore are dispersed chiefly by the insect and then by the wind, and then it will fall into the new substratum, and then it will form new spores. See, there is first the vegetative hypha and the conidiospores develop, and then conidophore, where the conidophore is when mature, then the sporangium is formed, and then sporangium is differentiated, and then it will rupture the sporangium, and then sporangiophores releases into the environment, and then it is the formation of the germ tube, and then it is again forming into the new. Next is chlamydospores. During the unfavorable conditions, thick-walled, nutrition-rich intercalary mycelium segment are developed by the septation of the mycelium, which are termed as chlamydospores, and they get separated from each other when the connecting mycelium dries up. In favorable condition, the chlamydospores germinate and they give rise to new mycelium. So what happens? A hard wall covers these spores and it develops inside the vegetative cells during unfavorable condition, and in unfavorable condition mycelium becomes septate by the accumulation of the nuclei and cytoplasm in a certain portion and become surrounded by the thick wall called as chlamydospores. This one, and this spore then detaches from the mycelium and then remain dormant, and on the favorable condition they form a germ tube. This is the germ tube, and then they will give rise to new mycelium when it will get its favorable conditions again. Next is oidea or idiospores. Oidea are thin-walled, bead-like structure that are formed by the mycelium that grew in the medium rich in sugar, and after detachment the oidea increase by the budding like yeast, and this stage is called as torula stage, and later on they develop the new mycelia. When a mycelium grows in the substrate which is rich in sugar, some small thin-walled and pearl-like reproductive structures from that detaches out of the vegetative cell as in the budding of the yeast, because their growth will be so rapid that it will be like the budding in the yeast, and then oidiospores remains dormant for some time, and on favorable condition it forms the germination tube and to form a new vegetative body. And what is torula condition? Torula condition is when the detachment, the oidea increase the budding like yeast, it will be called as torula condition. So what is chlamydospores and the oidea? In mucor, the asexual reproduction also takes place by the chlamydospores or by the oidiospores, and it takes place by the formation of thick-walled intercalary chlamydospores or the formation of oidea, and the oidea are formed in liquid media. They also cause the fermentation of the sugar solution in which they are developed, and the mycelium becomes the septate. Thus the thin-walled segment of oidea are separated from each other in the liquid medium, and then the oidea increases in number as in the budding of the yeast, and this stage of mucor is called as torula condition, and alcohol is also produced during the fermentation. Next is sexual reproduction. In mucor, the sexual reproduction occurs by the gametangial conjugation. What is gametangial conjugation? When two cells come in contact with each other, means from the thallus two opposite strands. One strand will be positive and another will be the negative. They come in contact with each other, and when they come in contact they develop a small outgrowth and or the protuberance from the growth of the thalli, and after that the growth swells to form progametigium, and then the septum develops between the progametigium, and the fusion of progametigia occurs that results in the formation of gametes called as cenogametes, and then these gametes fuse to form zygote, and then the zygote then enlarges in size and gets surrounded by a thick walled structure called a zygospore, and then zygospore is dark black in color, which will covered by the two layers known as exosporium and endosporium. Exosporium will be the outer layer, and inner layer will be the endosporium, and in the last the zygospore remain dormant for some time, and then after finding out the favorable condition, the promycelium will develop into the develop out of the zygospore. They will form the new vegetative body. So what happened exactly in the sexual reproduction of mucor? It takes place during unfavorable condition by means of gametangial copulation. The gametangia look like by the by the conjugation, and they give rise to zygospore. In heterothallic species, the zygospores are produced by the union of two gametangia that are developed from the mycelia of the compatible strands, and in the homothallic species, the uniting gametangia develop from the mycelia that is derived on the germination of a single spore, and when the two mycelia of the compatible strains come close to each other, the mycelia produce small outgrowth that is called as progametangia, and the apical region of the two progametangia come in close contact, and when it will form here the progametangia, first of all from the thalli on the heterothallus, they will form protuberance, and then they will form the progametangia, and then the apical region of the two progametangia come in close contact, and the nuclei and cytoplasm of each progametangium push more and more toward the apical region, and its tip swells up with the dense protoplasm, and the rare region become the vacuolated, and a septum is laid down, which will separate the apical region, and which will be called as gametangium, and the basal region will called as suspensor, and the undifferentiated multinucleated protoplast of the gametangium is called as aplanogamete or the cenogametes, and then after the maturation of gametangia, the common wall at the point of their contact dissolve, and then the protoplast of the both of the gametangia unite to form the zygospore, and the nuclei of opposite gametangia fuse together to form diploid nuclei that are unpaired nuclei. They gradually degenerate, and the diploid nuclei undergo meiosis before resting stage of the zygospore. Economic importance of mucor. Many mucorales are industrially important, and some members of mucorales are commonly used to ferment the foods. And the fermentation of food is nutritionally important because the fungi contributes substantially to the nutritional value of the food, and it produces some important industrial products also, such as lactic acid and amylase, rennin, and other organics such as fumaric acid. And other species are also used in the industrial fermentation in the conversion of starch into the sugar, and some species of rhizopus are used in the food preparation. For example, in the preparation of the delicious food that is from the Indonesia, and some Chinese cheese called as tofu, they are formed from the soya beans with the help of mucor. And many diseases of the fruits that occur during the storage and transit are caused by the mucorales. So they cause soft rot of the various fruits such as strawberries, raspberries, and peaches, and also in some potatoes. And some species of rhizopus also contain diseases to cause the fatal diseases called as mucormycosis, as we have discussed earlier, and they cause it in the domesticated animals and men, and these infects the lungs, brain, and other organs that are particularly in the men. And moreover, mucor together with the rhizopus is one of the most quickly invading organisms, and they are able to contaminate many kinds of stored food product. And mucorosis, it may cause the skin and bronchial allergenic reactions, and it is an compromised individuals. In the compromised individual, the site of infection are the lungs, nasal sinus, brain, eyes, the skin. An infection may have multiple sites, and also it causes some allergy because mucus species are often found in the soils, dead plant material, horse dung, and fruits and some fruit juices. So it is also found in the leather, meat, dairy products, animal hairs, and the jute, and it is almost always in the horse dust because it is frequently in the air samples and oil, and also some dirty carpets. And one study of the most frequent modes found in the horse dung, that is the sample of the home found in the mucor, is 98% of the samples from the homes, and wood chips and the sawdust are often attacked by the mucors also, and it causes wood chips disease and Furrier's lungs, and these are accumulated dust in the ventilation ducts, and these may contain high concentration of the viable mucor spores, and asthmatic reactions to the mucor have also been described in the mucor studies. If you have any questions, you can ask, and you have to answer these questions because I will mark your attendance after answering these questions. What is the class of mucor, and where we can find out the mucor, and what are the mode of nutrition, and which type of hypha mucor have, and what is mycelium, what is columella, and is mucor macroscopic, and what are the types of spores mucor have in this asexual reproduction. And then in the sexual reproduction in mucor occurs through, means in sexual reproductions in the mucor occurs through, and when what is the gametangial conjugation. So answer these questions in the comment section, then I will mark your attendance. Thank you.